I recently asked who wants me to take a look at their account and give them some feedback. And I got a whole bunch of people. And so I got Chat GPT to help me randomly choose somebody. And I just said, hey, Chat, can you randomly pick one person from this list? And I listed all the names and it came back and randomly chose Jody with learners and makers. So congratulations, Jody. And thank you for allowing me to record this and share it with the world. It's going to be super valuable for you and everybody else. Now, what you're about to see is like just a teeny tiny piece of what I do for my clients who sign up for the Pinterest Growth Accelerator Blueprint. And I'm going to link to that in the description. And I'm going to tell you more about that service at the end as well. But that's just this is kind of a teaser for that service. So don't waste any time. We're going to dive in. Now, I can tend to get a little deep in the woods. I'm going to try to keep it kind of high level, and so the video isn't like an hour long, but we'll see what happens. All right. So first off the bat, when I just look at this at a glance, I love it. Okay. You've got your logo here. You've got this lovely family photo. Great. Looks beautiful. So we're going to talk today about your profile description. We are going to look at some of your pin designs and board descriptions and also pin descriptions. And I'm going to just give you my feedback about all of it. Take what you like and use it. Ignore what you don't like. Totally fine. It's your account at the end of the day. Excuse me. Another thing that I will always throw out there as a disclaimer is, listen, I have advice that is based on my own experience, which I do have some experience. I've been travel blogging and professionally pinning for 6 years, and I am also a Pinterest manager. So my experience doesn't just come from pinning my own stuff, but also from working with my clients. They're all in the travel blogging industry, and so that is what I know most. But just because something has worked for me and my clients doesn't 100% guarantee that it's going to work for you. And just because something has not worked for us doesn't mean that it won't work for you. So you always want to test different things. And if I say, I wouldn't do this, and you've been doing it and it's working great for you, keep doing it. Ignore me. It's totally fine, right? You want to pay attention to your analytics and what's going on in your account more than what me or any other expert has to say, right? So I always want to throw that out there because there's always exceptions to every rule. And this is just based on my own experience. Okay, so let's talk about, first of all, our profile description. So if I click more here, it's going to show me the entire profile description. And this is travel family blog with a line, travel and accessibility with a line, travel nomad family, international travel, motorhome RV travel, slow travel, travel planning to help you travel more. Okay. There is nothing wrong with these words. However, I would encourage you to reformat this into paragraph form. Okay. Sound like a natural, normal person talking to another person. So you do want keywords in there, which is what these are, right? And for anybody new to blogging or Pinterest, all a keyword is if you think about in terms of your profile, you're thinking about your blog as a whole. If someone wants to find my blog, what are some of the search terms they might type in? That's it. That's all a keyword is. It could be one word, travel. It could be 2 words, family travel. It could be multiple words, motorhome RV travel, right? So we say keyword, but it can be 1 word or multiple words. It's just what would a person type in to get to this content. Okay, so I use ChatGPT all the time for descriptions for Pinterest, profile descriptions, board descriptions, and pin descriptions, and pin titles, actually, exclusively. Like, I don't make up my own ever. I always use Chat. So I'm going to give you a couple tips about how to do that, though, where it can actually sound like you and a human being and not a robot. So first of all, you just would go, and for your Pinterest profile description, I would just say, Chat, I want you to write a Pinterest profile description for me. My blog is about this, and this. And I would say, make sure you include these keywords, blah, 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 blah. List them out, whatever you are known for. Sometimes you can look at your categories, by the way, on your blog, and that can help you decide what those keywords might be. And I would say include other relevant keywords. Do not use the word board in the description. If you don't say that, it often will. And I would say Everything with chat, I have started adding at the end, use everyday language. Okay. That is going to help prevent it from using a ton of words. So there's like, if you use AI at all, and you are going to start to notice certain words that AI really loves to use, especially chat. It uses discover and explore and whatever. Like, I personally never write discover the beauties of Sedona or whatever, right? Like, that just doesn't sound like something I would write. Doesn't sound like most people would write. So I say use everyday language, and that really helps kind of knock out some of that stuff and make it sound more natural. And then you want to tweak it, obviously, to sound like your own voice. But that is a really easy and fast way to create descriptions that are going to work for you, and also plug in a bunch of keywords so that Pinterest and pinners know what it's about. So that is what I would do, by the way, again, for your profile description, your board descriptions, your pin descriptions, like all of those, you can use the exact same process, and it works beautifully. Okay. So that's my first tip on your profile. All right. I'm trying to follow you. I can follow you later, but that's not what I'm trying to do. Okay. Let's just talk for a minute about pin design. So let me just scroll through here and see what we see. Okay. Okay, so right off the bat, one of the things that I notice is some of the words are really small. Okay, so for example, this template right here, this Meow Wolf Denver with kids, there's a lot of white space there, so there's plenty of room to make that text bigger. And I would highly, highly, highly recommend that you do that. A lot of these are, in my opinion, a little too small. So here's how I want you to think about that. This video one, like, again, really small. So for me, rule of thumb is I want the text on the pin image to take up at least 1/3 of the length of that pin. All right. So there's kind of two really important elements to every pin image. The first most important thing is the photo, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. And the second most important thing right under that is your text. So keep in mind that pinners are using their phones almost exclusively. So you want to make sure that your text is big enough and easy to read. So the text choices that you've made here, like the fonts, are great. They're big enough, they're bold enough, they're easy to read. I always recommend people stay away from like super fancy script stuff, because first of all, young people can't read that. And secondly, when it's small and on your phone, it's hard to read too. So you want to keep it easy to read, and you want to make it big enough where they can read it. So those are two things that I would really work on. I would make your words bigger. This one here is really pretty good. I'm probably going to destroy this name. I apologize. Da Nang. I don't know. Is that how you say it? I have no idea. I haven't been to Vietnam. So forgive me if I butchered that, but is Da Nang worth it with kids? That part could be bigger here, right? Vietnam's big enough. That looks good. But is Da Nang worth it with kids? That could be bigger. And so you just want to be a little bit more bold on that. So the other thing I would say is the photo choices. Okay. So it looks like these are all original photos, or at least certainly mostly original photos. And here's the thing. All right. A little tough love here. Pinners don't know you, and they don't care about you. Okay. I hate to say that, but it's just the truth. Pinterest is a search engine. And so keep in mind the difference too between Pinterest and like Google or something is Pinterest is a search engine. It's a visual search engine. So if you think about it, every pin you create is like a billboard. So if I'm driving down the highway and I see a billboard about Hanoi, Vietnam. Again, I apologize if I butcher that name. I'm just going to say Hanoi. If it's wrong, y'all can tell me in the comments. But if I see a billboard for Hanoi, Vietnam, it needs to really catch my attention. Like, that is the whole purpose of that billboard, right? It wants to draw me in. It needs to distract me from the highway. The difference with Pinterest, though, is that your pinners are driving down a highway that is literally packed with billboards. So not only are you trying to grab their attention, but you are fighting for their attention amongst all these other billboards. So if you go to Pinterest and you type in Hanoi, Vietnam with kids, you're going to be shown a ton of billboards essentially. And so what is going to make your billboard stand out from all the rest? Okay. That is what you really want to focus on. So for me, I almost always use stock photos. Now, some people really like using their original photos, and that's fine. But just keep in mind that unless you take really high quality photos, you're not going to get as many click throughs, in my opinion. Because again, the people that see this pin, they're going to see this. Like, I'm just going to use this one as an example. And nothing against you, by the way. You look lovely. The bridge is great. It's awesome. It's a great photo. And I would absolutely use these photos on your blog, in your blog posts, all of that, right? In your newsletters. Like, that is where you build that personal relationship. That is where you show, look, here I am on the bridge that I'm telling you about. I'm an expert. That's why I'm telling you about it, because I was actually there. That is important to sell that piece of it. But on a Pinterest image, it's not important. On a Pinterest image, the most important thing is pulling the pinner in, right? Pulling the pinner in, getting them to click. That is what we're after. So if I type in Hanoi, Vietnam, I'm going to see all of these amazing pins. And a bunch of them are like beautiful landscape of Vietnam or really cool architecture of Vietnam or whatever. And then we've got this one of you on a bridge. It just doesn't pull me in. Okay. So let me just give you another example. I went over to Canva, and I don't know if you use Canva for the designs. I'm guessing that you do. And I literally just typed in Hanoi, Vietnam. I wanted to see what pictures come up. So, and then I picked a few that I really loved. Okay, so here is one. I think this is the same bridge. I might be wrong, but I think it is. But you see how bright and vibrant this picture is? Like, that picture pulls me in. It's like, ooh, ah, right? That's what you're looking for. You're looking for the ooh, ah photos. If I scroll down, ooh, look at that picture. Beautiful sunset. It's bright colors. This looks like a fun place to be. I want to be there. I want to go there. I want to see this place. Okay. Ooh, look how cool that looks. Man, I want to see that in person, right? Bright colored lanterns. Like, what? That's so amazing. Where is that? Where? I need to go to this place. I need to make sure I see this in my lifetime, right? That is what you're after with your photos. So I know a lot of people love to use original photos on their pins. I get it. I know that those photos are important to you. They're important to me too. But the fact is, your photos are not always going to be as high quality and eye-catching and ooh-ah worthy as a stock photo. Okay? It's just my personal opinion. I almost always use stock photos, and that is the reason. I want a bright, beautiful picture that draws my person in, that makes them go ooh, and makes them want to go there to that place so they will click on that pin to learn more. Okay? So, number one tip on photos, y'all. All right, let's see what else. Okay, so the other thing that I noticed as I scrolled through here was she is using her blog photos pretty much exclusively. So we've got this dark blue gray, we've got this mint green, we've got kind of a peachy color, and we have a dark orange color. So we want to, I would highly recommend, again, for the exact same reasons that I just said about all the photos, I would branch out with the colors that you use. Now, I will say there are times when you might want to just use brand colors. If you really are trying to brand, you want everything to be branded, it is okay. However, I just feel like if you're only using 4 colors, you just kind of limit yourself, right? And sometimes the photos versus the color that you're using in there is kind of clashy, and it just doesn't stand out as well as if you were allowing yourself to use other colors. So maybe try that out, maybe practice it. I know some people will use branded colors because it makes their pin creation faster. And so if that is what you're after, then what I would recommend is go in and pick like 10 colors, okay, that you like, that are a variety of colors, instead of sticking with just 4. Now, again, that's just a recommendation. There are plenty of bloggers out there who use a very narrow set of colors. And so if that's just what you are determined to do, that's okay. It's just not my advice. I would advise trying different colors, because you just never know what might resonate with that pinner that's scrolling in that sea of billboards, right? So that is my spiel on colors. Okay, let's talk about boards for a second. So if I go to saved over here, I'm going to see the boards that we have. Let's just start with our national park. Oh, actually, let me say one other thing really quick because I saw this. So I see that you've got a bunch of different boards and some of them have the same exact board cover. I would change that up. Okay. Just use, if this one is used here, I would only use it here as your board cover. All right. So just use each board cover one time on one board, not multiple boards. Um, All right, so let's talk about the number of pins on each board. So a lot of these only have a few pins. Now, these could be new boards, and that's totally fine. But let's just say, so this one here has 5 pins. So first of all, it depends on your I want to think about content and a new board. There's kind of 2 ways to think about this. So first of all, for every single board, I want you to have at least 20 pins in it right off the bat. So you may not have 20 pieces of content to put in here right this second. That's okay. Go ahead and fill that board with other people's pins that are very relevant to that board title. Okay, so whatever that board's about, you want to make sure everything you pin in here is about family road trips. Okay, because that sends signals to Pinterest to tell Pinterest exactly what this board is about. We kind of put more pins in there so it's just a clearer message to Pinterest. So I would go and do that. After that, by the way, I don't pin anything of other people's content ever, but I do it at the beginning to fill up my boards. So every single board, I want you to have at least 20 pins in. Now, the second rule of thumb that I follow and my clients follow for every board is if you don't have at least 10 pieces of content that go in that board, you don't need that board. Okay. So if you have 10 pieces of content that have something to do with road trips, with your kids, with your family, great. Keep that board. That's an excellent board. Keep pinning to it. But if you only have 2 or 3, you don't need that board. Go with something more broad that you can put multiple pins into, because otherwise you're going to have a board that just has like 2 or 3 pins over and over and over and over and over. And if a pinner does come to that board, it just looks really spammy. And I think it looks spammy to Pinterest too. And we definitely want to stay away from spammy behavior with Pinterest. So that is another tip with that. Okay, let's see. So let's look at just National Parks Board. We're going to take a look at our board description. Okay, so again, this is basically just a list of keywords. So just like I recommended for your profile description, I would follow that exact same process using chat for a board description. And you just tell chat, I have a Pinterest board called this. Please write a Pinterest description, or excuse me, a board description. Make sure you include these keywords, blah, 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 and other relevant keywords. And I tell it, do not use the word board in the description because otherwise it will and it sounds ridiculous. And then use everyday language. Okay. And then you tweak it to sound a little more like yourself. But it's going to be a paragraph form. It's going to be packed with keywords. And that is what we want. That's going to send better signals to Pinterest. Again, telling Pinterest what this board is about. That matters, by the way, because the quicker we can tell Pinterest what a board is about and what a pin is about, the better they will be at showing it to the pinners who really want that content, which is going to translate into more outbound clicks per impressions for you. Okay. And that's what this is all about, right? Getting outbound clicks to our websites from Pinterest. Okay. So let's look at a specific pin and look at a pin description. Dinosaur National Monument with kids. Let's click on that. Okay, I'm just going to read through this description real quick, or at least parts of it. Bring out everyone's inner child, Dinosaur National Monument. First time Anthony saw Dinosaur National Monument on our atlas, he said, we're going there. When it comes to family travel, exploring Dinosaur National Monument with kids can bring out anyone's inner child. It's no wonder Anthony was a little boy who read book after book about dinosaurs. Okay, and I'm just kind of scrolling. There's this. Okay, so a little tough love here. This is beautiful. It sounds like Anthony was a big dinosaur fan. However, pinners on Pinterest do not care. They don't care about Anthony. They don't know who he is. They don't care. Okay. They want to know what's in it for them. Okay. This whole description is to tell a pinner why they should want to click on this and read this post. And Anthony's love of dinosaurs when he was a kid is not going to do it. Okay. So again, the other thing about this too, by the way, is the formatting is kind of weird, right? It looks like there's like a title and maybe paragraph breaks. There's just something without a space here. Like, so that kind of stuff too, just kind of looks a little odd to a pinner. And so what I would do, now listen, don't get me wrong. All of the stuff about Anthony when he was a child, it's lovely. It belongs in the blog post or in your email newsletter when you're teasing this post, that kind of thing, where you're doing your relationship building. But a Pinterest description to me is not the place to do relationship building. Again, this is just another step past your billboard. You're just trying to draw the pinner in, and this is a stranger who does not know you and they don't care about you. Pinterest pinner is going to click on this if they see something worthwhile to them. All right, that's it. So you just want to tell them what's in it for them, make it exciting, make it click worthy. Use chat, try it out, test it out. Give it some keywords, say, I have a blog post about this, write me a Pinterest description. And it's going to write it again, tell it to use the relevant keywords, just like before, all those words, and see what it comes up with, and then tweak it to your own liking. But this to me is just too personal for a Pinterest pin description because, again, they just don't care. It's the same as for a blog post when you're writing your meta description. My guess is you don't write out a big, lengthy, personal story, right? Because that's not the point of the meta description. The point is to tell Google and other search engines and the person who is just glancing at it on Google search what this post is about and why they should click on it. Same thing with the Pinterest pin description. Okay. All right, let's see what else. Back up one more time because I think there was one other thing I wanted to say. Let's go to created. Okay. All right, so the other thing that I would say is I see that we have like this one here, it's used 2 different times. It's the exact same everything, right? Same photo, same background, same template, same words, like exactly the same thing. I really highly recommend that you don't do that. I would create a fresh pin every single time. So what a fresh pin means is if I have a blog post, family vacations, how to afford them, every single time I go to pin that URL, I'm going to create a new pin image with a new photo, new background, new words, different words, slightly different words on the pin image itself, and a different description every single time. Now, why does that matter? Well, if I am a pinner and I'm going in to Pinterest and I say, I'm how to afford family vacations is what I search. And I see the sea of billboards, right, of pins. And I see this pin a couple of different times. First of all, that looks a little spammy. It's a little bit of a turnoff. It makes you think like, what's going on here, right? It feels salesy or something. It feels a little yucky to a pinner. The other reason that you don't want to do it is because if I see this family vacations, how to afford them, this exact pin, that one might not catch my eye, right? I might scroll past that one for whatever reason. But then if you have the same topic, but it just looks a little different, has a slightly different spin, a little different photo, for some reason, that one might catch my eye. So you're just giving yourself more of a chance to get that click. So that is another reason why I would always do fresh pins. Okay. All right, my dear Jody, that is my feedback for you. Let me know if it was valuable. Everybody else, let me know if this was valuable to you as well. And again, this was just the tip of the iceberg, a little taste of what I do in the Pinterest Growth Accelerator Blueprint service that I offer. I will put a link to that in the description so that you can check it out. And basically, it's kind of like one-on-one coaching, a really deep dive Pinterest audit, a personalized strategy, and Pinterest keywords and how to use them all rolled up into one service. So check that out and let me know if you have any questions. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.